Now we'd like to start a Ruby sponsored session. We have 3 companies from the Ruby sponsors for Ruby World Conference 2019. Starting from GMO Pepabo, Ms. Asami Fukuba is going to talk about making my own work more interesting using the technology as a person in charge of hiring. Good morning. I'm in charge of the hiring people. I want to use the technology to make my work much more interesting. That's the title. GMO Pepabo. My name is Masami Fukuba, Human Resources, and I made the own character. My hobby is to make characters. I'd like to introduce GMO Pepabo. Since the inauguration in 2003, we are doing the hosting, EC support, handmade, and various supports. And we have 350 people working together in Tokyo, Fukuoka, and since 2019, this year, we established new office in Kagoshima. And we're going to have the Kagoshima Ruby conference on 30th of November, and please come to the office of the Pepabo. Now, how to make my work much more interesting. This is me when I was a student. In a Department of Education, I was trying to be the teacher at the kindergarten. I loved the internet, but I didn't know much about expertise and expert knowledge, and I've never heard about the word such as Ruby, and I move forward with a passion. After joining the company, in 2013, I joined the company Pepabo, and it was difficult for me to communicate with engineers. For instance, technological terms are too difficult. I couldn't understand what they were talking about. And I was scared because I was asked to talk in a logical way. And also, engineers are quite a different type of people from a person like me, from the Department of Education. But there are 3 things that triggered my change. When I was doing the salesperson, I learned the following. I was able to understand the mechanism of the programming, and I was assigned to the card service Kara Me shop. I was in charge of sales and marketing, and I was in charge of the development of the specific functions. And the programming is to give instruction that was told by engineer. For instance, A would lead to this kind of a movement, and B would cause a different movement. Conversely, it moves only according to the instructions. So I was told to speak logically to make it better, and we need to make a good programming after hearing accurately what the customer expects us to do to make a quality products. And then I was assigned to the person in charge of hiring. And even engineers do not understand everything from the beginning. 2015, and finally, I was assigned to the HR department to hire new graduates. And actually, I talked with the engineering department students, but actually, I didn't understand what they were talking about. And the web is just a fraction of the total picture, and the programming would encompass various languages and areas. And so I discussed with the interviewer of the hiring, and those engineers do not understand everything from the beginning, and not understanding all of the technical pieces. So there are some common aspects between me and the engineers. We shouldn't fix the notion that he's an engineer, probably he is an expert and know more than myself. I gave up to some extent, but because there are some commonalities, I try to learn more. So what are the important things in hiring? Study in a wider area, even though shallowly, and to leading up to the appropriate person with an engineering prowess, try to understand as many as possible the technologies and the languages and area and characteristics that people would be the centerpiece. For instance, the regions would be web application, mobile, infrastructure, embedding, and computation, mathematics, and the characteristics would be something like we learn first thing in the university education or in the machine learning, and also there could be a popular technology and the people. For instance, the person who are good at in the office or who had experience as the students. And if you have a question, I try to ask a question. Engineers are so good at teaching people, so it's better to and quicker to ask questions. And asking questions would be the opportunity to talk to various engineers, and then you would understand the personality and the area that the person is good at. And after talking with them, I started to be more confident in the communication with engineers. And finally, the trigger was an encounter with the Ruby community. September 2017, Rail Girls Tokyo and the Ruby World Conference. I participated in these two conferences. I was impressed that if you use the Ruby, then you will be a part of the Ruby community, even though you are not an engineer. So I participate in the Ruby community, try to make things more interesting as far as possible within the scope of what I can do. And I decided to be more active. What I am doing these days, solving the problem in front of me using technology, Slack and GitHub Enterprise Suite I use for communication at Bepavo. I like the notification collaboration, and I use this often. And for the hiring site, in order to upload the information, I learned how to use JIT, and also I use other applications as well. I have HR blog, and please look at this HR blog as well. I'm so nervous, but thanks to all of you in the Ruby community to be able to be here and speak to you today. And the company philosophy of Bepabo is you can make it even more interesting. So I have been working hard based upon this, the philosophy. And after listening to me, if you think more about how to expand your activities, I would be more than happy. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ms. Fukuba.
株式会社 DeNA.
Now the next speaker is Mr. Atsushi Kobayashi of DeNA. He's going to talk with the title of Diversity in DeNA. Mr. Kobayashi, please. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I am DeNA. I'm from DeNA. I'm Kobayashi. I want to talk about DeNA. And maybe you don't know what DeNA is, so I would like to highlight my company. Maybe you would think of Baystars, Yokohama Baystars, when you hear DeNA. But we have diverse business activities, including social games, entertainment, healthcare, sports, and many others. And when we look back the history of Internet, we can find the following. In that second phase, when Galapagos mobile phones are available, we have the dissemination of the mobile phones, and then we entered into the smartphone era. So the history of DNA is the history of Internet. And there are many technologies to support our activities. And we have the development language like Perl, Java, Go, and Ruby. Ruby is really a technology supporting DNA. Then I would like to show you the examples of services using Ruby at DNA. I talked about the portfolio, games, services, and the new novel businesses. We use Ruby. The game, and when we start the novel business, we use Ruby. And also there are diverse businesses where we can utilize Rubyists. And the Ruby supports the games, which is globally distributed, and the the examples of the utilization of the Ruby in the super high load environment is global. So we are developing a lot of businesses using this, and we are now facing a new trend, new era for DNA business. Since 2011, we started being involved in sports businesses, including the Yokohama DNA Baystars. And it is not only that we own the baseball teams, but we try to offer various experiences to the users so that they can be satisfied. And we are also trying to collaborate with the communities. Since 2014, we got involved in the healthcare business. And the healthcare is not the sick care. The healthcare is something we are promoting health and preventing diseases. For example, there is a service called Kencom, and there is health status or health risk of the Kencom group and non-Kencom group. And automotive industry or automotive business is which we entered in 2015. We have the taxi distribution apps called MOV. So these are the data sciences, IoTs, and AIs. They are used in various fields of our businesses. And furthermore, we have to look back the history of Industrial Revolution, and this is from Jeremy Rifkin. And this is what you learn. This is the first Industrial Revolution. So there are three fields of businesses where the industries grew, like telecommunication, transportation, and power. We have the steam engines, we have telecommunication and steam printing, and we have coals to support the capitalistic economies. The second Industrial Revolution is capitalized with telephones, automobiles, and oil, or the discovery of fossil fuels. Then we have more productive industries to come. Now we are in the third Industrial Revolution. For the automobiles, we have an electric-driven automobiles, and for the telecommunication, we have internet, and for the power, we are not using the fossil fuels, but we can use renewable energies. And automotive driving or automatic driving of the vehicles is another way to go. So we have to be able to involve internet when the vehicles are automatically driven. We have to utilize the mobility and internet. We have to use communication. We also have to use energy so that the cars are run by the renewable energies. And when we look at the transportations, there are a lot of issues around taxis. For example, the taxi drivers are getting older, and the number of taxi drivers are decreasing. And it is very difficult to stop that decline. And also the transportation data is really a big data. This is an example of Yokohama City. We have to utilize a lot of data as shown here, and IoT and AI can be used to improve the productivity of transportations. And we can change the society by utilizing IoT, big data, and AI. And energy internet. And some of the social challenges is that we have produced too much carbon dioxide, resulting in the greenhouse effects. However, like in the typhoon this year, there are a lot of issues in Chiba Prefecture. However, the Nissan offered the electric car so that they can drive even in the days when they don't have an access to the energy sources. And this is a collaboration of IoT and EV, and they try to store the renewable energy in the batteries, and they can use those energies in the society. So mobility internet and the internet we are talking can be handled with the technology. So DeNA tries to utilize our technology to offer better services to the community and society. DeNA approach is the following. We are involved in the creation of communities and cities. We are going to use the renewable energy through a renewable energy network, and we also utilize the mobility network and communication network. Of course, the efficiency and productivity is not our final goal. We have to try to lead the behavioral change of the citizens living in the community. And it is not only the solution of the social issues through technologies, we also have to look at the emotions of the people, the system efficiencies and productivity, and we have to create delightfulness in the community. And the Ruby and many other technology are needed to realize our goal. And we are trying to utilize diverse technology to implement and realize those dreams. We are using technical diversity, including Ruby, and we are trying to do the cross-job activities. For example, in many of the companies, one department will do certain jobs, and the other department cannot be involved or engaged in that department's jobs. However, we have a unique system where the other department personnel can be engaged in the activities of other department, and therefore we may be able to experience multiple services. For example, I am in the gaming department, but I can be involved partly in the energy activities or energy department activities. So product manager, and we may be able to challenge to be a product managers and the development languages. And we can extend or expand our careers. And there are a lot of job titles we have, and we may be able to challenge for the new possibilities. And the company supports the career development of an employees. So not only the employees, but also the company is involved in creating the career for the employees. And the fusion and integration of those human resources will help the company successful in the 21st century. Thank you very much. I speak very fast, but thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you very much, Mr. Kobayashi, for your presentation.
続きまして株式会社
Next, from Speee Inc., we'd like to invite Mr. Kenta Murata, and he's going to present interactive Speee, introducing Speee, sorry. Thank you very much. Well, I changed the title. The new title, my new title is OS Activities at Speee. So this is my introduction. I work as a full-time OS developer at Speee. And recently, I also became the committer for the Apache Arrow, and one of the 45 committers, and also C Ruby committer is another phase of mine. And also, usually I work with GEMS, such as Pico, Charty, and so on and so forth. So those tools useful for the data science are what we work on. And also I'm a photographer, hobbyist photographer as well. And this is the tweet I did in August, and there's the rather serious bug if you have seen this. And as for picture, since last year, photo taking became my hobby. So 2 days ago, I took this photo from the bridge, and also yesterday, after the party we had yesterday, I also took this picture, and I really liked them. And as for Speee, we set up the booth in the small hall. So I wonder what kind of company we are. We are offering the coffee, but not just coffee. In front of our booth, we have this table with Speee logo. So, because here we have the table, so those people working with Ruby are there. So if you're interested in speaking to those people who are always working with Ruby, please come to our booth or table. And the Speee focus on the support for OSS, the open source software. There are two things. We offer the fund or financial support, and the other is to provide opportunities to meet up with people. For the rest of the slides, they're mostly in Japanese. So I talked about supporting OSS. The way we support is the make investment in human resource development. For example, the hiring full-time OSS developers, and also support the activities of employees, not during the working hours, but also even outside the working hours. But I'm full-time OS developer, and these are what I have done since I joined the company, and none of them is really Speee unique. In the first year, I worked on the Pico, and from the second year, I focused more on Apache Arrow. And the purpose of doing all these things is I'm not able to do the data analysis with Ruby, and that's what I like to change. So this is about Apache Arrow. So this is the infrastructure to do the data analysis using the limited the resource. We're going to have the version 1 soon, and in the future, we like to make very versatile library. And Apache Arrow development is going to be my focus this year. And just last month, I became Apache Arrow committer. Speee employs me, but also the Speee understands what I'm supporting another developer, Sudo-san. So because of our collaboration, Speee also supports Sudo-san as well. So I think it's only Speee at present that supports the developer of the Apache Arrow. And now about Unicode plot. I tend to look for the interesting tools supporting various language, and this is what I created. And here's a Ruby code, sine, cosine. So perhaps you expect what's going to happen. So this is a graph on your terminal. So this is what I create. And another thing, next one is Charty. So Charty is, something like this. Creation of the graph. You can generate the graph with Charty, and the characteristic is there's 2 lines also, and then you can create all the box plots. I wonder if you can see it. Exactly the same code, but here there's at the back end, and here you can create the same box plots. So this is quite effective to visualize, visualization support for Ruby developer. And there's another employee of the Charty who works with me for Charty. And another support Speee provides is the server fee support and the library support. Here is a Sudo-san I mentioned earlier. So he works for another company called Clear Code, but he comes to work with us once a month at the Speee. So because of our association, the Speee also supports Sudo-san. So this picture was taken 2 months ago, and the newly hired employee went to Sudo-san asking for his advice. So because Sudo-san comes to work with us on a regular basis, we can utilize his expertise. And also as for the support Speee provides, the company provides the support up to 10,000 yen, and using this support, the employee can use the server and where they can try the new knowledge, and also the Factorio and the Nuke. So if the employees used all the external resources to improve their skill, and then the Speee supports it. Another support is a library support. So up to 10,000 yen, the employee can purchase the books, and that money would be refunded by the company. It doesn't have to be a job-specific title. So this is a picture of a library, and I think this is a wonderful the system. And this is what we call Speee library system, and Hattori-san developed this system. So I'd like you to encourage to read this site if you're interested. So this is quite well developed system, Speee library. So for example, if you borrow a book or return book, you can receive a message like this. Or if you find some book of your interest, for example, Amazon's URL, you can just paste it, and then you can check whether that book is available in a library already. And if not, the message comes and asks you if you want to request the purchase of the book. And then this application form will be attached to that message, so you can also make the request on one instance. So the president of the Speee said he wanted to study Ruby on Rails, and then since then, well, at first he purchased the books because he wanted to study that Ruby. So there were some sections of the books purchased by him, but now we have far more books purchased by other employees. So there are lots of freedom for us to work, and the MARP and those charities, as I mentioned earlier. So these are how many of you have been working with MARP or know about MARP? These slides, by the way, I created MARP. So to create this, VS Code /mark. So this is a plug-in you can use, and then you can make PDF. So it's very, very useful to prepare this kind of slides. So I used MARP to create my presentation slides, and also the JSX Slack. This was developed by Hattori-san that I mentioned, and also CSV. This was also the joint development effort. So Spee's employees are working on the various projects, and the company is quite willing to support all these activities. And also not just supporting, the Speee also provides the meeting opportunity. So you saw the pictures where the books are, there's lots of bookshelves were. So the company allows employee to use that free space to meet up many interesting people. So here you see the display. That's the experiment connecting this site with Shimane online. Oh, Sugihara-san, by the way, thank you very much for your support on that occasion. So here, these are the members from Roppongi RB. So sometimes more than one meetings are held. So this is when the meeting was very small, maybe only 4 members, including myself. So when we had the meet-up events, we request the companies for this kind of drink support, like coffee. The coffee is good, by the way. So if you like to have the good coffee, you're more than welcome to come. And this is Julia Tokyo picture. September or October last year, we had the L'Oreal version 1 release pro events. So Speee offered some money and purchased this cake, and we all celebrated. And also we did a Ruby release memorial party, jointly hosted with Asakusa Ruby. And we talked about this yesterday, and we have just decided to have this event this year as well. So most likely it's going to be on the night of the 26th December. Oh, sorry, my time is up. So why the company is investing on OSS, because we benefited so much from OSS. We can do so much because of OSS and Ruby. So now we like to pay back our benefits. And also, if the software engineer skill is increasing and the number of them is increasing, the company will be also happy as well. So that's about Speee, and thank you very much. Murata-san, thank you very much.